Hello and welcome. If you don't know me, my name is Maudlin. Why that's my name, I could do a whole other video about that, and I might. But for right now, I want to talk about Halloween. It's August, there's Halloween candy in the grocery store. I don't know about where you live, but I felt the first autumn breeze blow through a couple of days ago. So I have Halloween on the brain. I always do. It's always at the back of my mind. That is my high holy holiday. I used to get teased for it. I used to get made fun of for being into spooky stuff. I used to get made fun of for being into cryptozoology. And now everybody has an I break for cryptids bumper sticker on the back of their car. It's okay. It's okay. I'm glad everyone's on board now. Halloween is superior. It's superior time of the year. So let's just talk about Halloween costumes, because that's one of the best parts of Halloween is dressing up. I'm going to reveal the Halloween costumes I have in consideration this year, from most to least controversial. But first I wanted to just kind of like look back at some of my past Halloween costumes, just so you get a feel for what kind of Halloween-y person I am. And one of my Halloween costumes was controversial, not necessarily at the time, but I later looked back and was like, oh, that was an interesting choice. We'll talk about it. Last year I did a twofer. First I was George Spigot, aka the Devil from Bedazzled 1967. Here's what he looks like. Here's my rendition. I could not for the life of me get those perfect, awesome sunglasses that he has in the movie. I could never, you don't understand it. I have looked everywhere for sunglasses like that, and I've never found any. So I did my best, but, you know, one of the reasons I want to become a fashion designer is to make the Spigot sunnies. Anyway, let's just bask in the costume for a second.
Then why did you say that?
Malice, I'm a liar. I'll do it the whole time. I can't help it.
Are you telling me that everything you've ever said is a lie?
Everything I've ever told you has been a lie, including that.
Including what?
That everything I've ever told you has been a lie. That's not true.
I don't know what to believe.
Not me, Stanley. Believe me.
Okay, and then my official Halloween costume was season 1 of Vince Noir from The Mighty Boosh. I'm gonna out myself as a Britcom fan a couple of times during the course of this video. You know, just call the cops. I just like funny, weird looking men. I can't help it. Sorry. So I was Vince Noir, season 1. Here's a little snippet of Vince Noir. It's obviously Noel Fielding at his peak. And then here's little me with my I did a terrible job recreating his hair. I I have the same kind of brown base, and I had like kind of a layered bob going on, so I thought it was gonna work. But then I put in blonde hair extensions, snipped them up, you know, kind of like feathered them into my real hair. But like I put them on top of my, like not putting them under and letting them peek. I didn't know what I was doing. So I did my best. I literally bought a Vince Noir Zookeeper jacket replica. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself. Had a little funny like alligator tee peeking through that I thought like Vince Noir on the show would totally wear. My little skinny jeans. I really only own one pair of skinny jeans. That was my option. And I got white cowboy boots on Depop. And that's what I was prancing around in. That's what I had to work with. And the year before that, I was a time traveler. I was going to do something else. And then like a couple of days before Halloween, I literally got high on life because I had the most spontaneous, awesome Halloween costume idea. And it cost me nothing to make. So I got a high from that. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I was manic for a couple of days because of this idea. I wanted to be a time traveler. One of the reasons that came to mind was because I had a shirt that says "It Gets Worse" with a little flower, and I thought it was really funny. And I didn't really like the shirt because it was kind of like, I don't know, just kind of like a weird pessimistic shirt. But I did a whole process. I ripped it up. You know, I looked up like cosplay tutorials about how to make a shirt look old. So it's like me from the future coming back saying "It gets worse." you know, it was like, oh, layers, meta. And then I did kind of like a historical, you know, mix-up of like, what decade am I in? So it cost me nothing. It cost me nothing. It cost me the labor of making that dumb, stupid Etsy shirt look old. I literally like buried it in my front yard for a few days to like get grungy and let the bugs nibble on it a little bit. I loved the costume. I thought it was awesome, but at the time on TikTok, you know, I was like in the TikTok doghouse, so no one cared. No one saw it, no one cared, but I thought it was awesome, and I was going to like have a fun time outside in the real world with my friend, but he bailed on me at the last second. It's fine. I'm not mad. See, the thing was, I fully like thinking that I was going to go to a costume contest, enter a costume contest, have like a trench coat on, and then reveal the It Gets Worse shirt. Like, I'm a time traveler. Like, this was because of those manic delusions of grandeur, I fully envisioned myself winning the costume contest without relying on like a gimmicky character or costume. But that's neither here nor there. I really liked that costume, but no one cared, was the story there.
Oh, that was crazy. I've never actually experienced that sort of atmosphere again before. It's absolutely electric.
A couple of times I've been Nadja from What We Do in the Shadows. Evidence is not necessary. I had a really shitty Victorian dress that, like, you know, barely covered my boobs. It was just, we don't need to worry about that. The controversial Halloween costume that I did in college, at the time, I just thought I was doing it for yucks. I was Mia Wallace from Pulp Fiction. I had the black bob, my hair was the perfect length. You know, at the time I was dyeing my hair black religiously. I've got the Uma Thurman kind of nose going on. I was like ready. The thing was, I decided to do a costume of Mia Wallace right after she gets the stabby in the heart when she ODs, you know? So I had this whole like apparatus hooked into my bra. You know, it's college, so you want to just like walk around in a slutty costume. So you get a button-down shirt, you soak it with fake blood, you pop your shirt open, you walk around campus with your titties out, and I had this whole apparatus of like a wire attached to like what was a glue stick with like a plunge, you know, so it looked like the plunger that goes into her heart directly. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was awesome. People thought it was awesome. I was trying to attract the attention of a couple of different people at this party, and it worked. So anyway, I was Mia Wallace post plunger, and you know, in retrospect, I considered, you know, oh, it's like insensitive to overdoses and like, you know, stuff like that. I have friends who have OD'd who would not bat an eyelash at that. Sometimes I do think people like to make issues on purpose, you know, virtue signaling kind of thing. So that's just my take. I don't know. See, the thing is, Halloween is when the veil between the two worlds, the living and the dead, is the thinnest. And I kind of feel like it's the same thing for morality a little bit. So, you know, don't quote me on that, but that was just, that's what happened. My boobs looked awesome, so whatever. Okay, so now let me just get into, okay, so you know about the controversial Halloween costume in my past. Was it truly actually very scandalous? I'm not really sure. That I'm open to feedback, but let me just put my Halloween costumes that I have in mind out there, starting with, yes, the most controversial. Now, I will preface this by saying I would absolutely never do this Halloween costume. I wouldn't, not unless everyone got really cool about a bunch of stuff really quickly, that being wearing slightly insensitive costumes on Halloween. But I thought it would be cool, just in theory, if the world was a cultural vacuum and nothing had any impact anywhere, See, I'm teeing it up and you're thinking it's going to be really, really bad, but just wait, just listen. I wanted to be a zombie, but it's Jane Mansfield. Now, if you don't know, Jane Mansfield died a very tragic, very young death. God rest her soul, she drove her convertible by accident under a truck, and was obviously did not survive that. I think her head came off. This is gruesome Halloween sort of stuff. If there were no consequences, if I was beyond reproach, it would be a really sexy fun time to dress as Jane Mansfield and just add a little bit of Halloween gore, like, oh, you know, my neck is, you know, my head's sort of cut off and oh, I have cuts and bruises. That's all it is. That's my most controversial Halloween costume I've ever come up with, and I would never do it. Mariska Hargitay is still alive. That's Jane Mansfield's daughter. I love Jane Mansfield as a person, as an icon, but I do like sort of campy things like that that are in bad taste. Continue to hear me out as I ascend from controversy. The next slightly controversial Halloween figure I would dress as is Susan Alamo. Now, Susan Alamo was an insane nutjob Christian evangelical nutcase. She was of the Alamo Ministries, and she was like the brains behind it all before she died, and Tony Alamo went absolutely apeshit, and the rest is history. But the reason I think she'd be a good Halloween costume is that she looks like this. There's a lot of like hair strangeness going on, just like a weird vibe, a little scary. I like when Halloween costumes are scary, and I think cult leaders are scary. If I saw someone at a party and their costume was Keith Raniere, I would like shit my pants. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, cult leaders are scary. Skeletons are scary. Ghosts are scary. Zombies are scary. In beautiful Halloween tradition, we dress as the things we fear to ward off evil spirits. So just do it that way you will. Next up is Old Greg. Again, I'm a fan of the Mighty Boosh. I think doing an Old Greg costume would be hilarious and fun. Old Greg is a trans mask icon. He's got a mangina, he's got a tutu, he's got seaweed hair. It would be a beautiful, beautiful sight for me to be Old Greg. In a similar kind of vein, I think it would be really cool to be a Rusalka from Russian folklore. These are kind of like mermaids, but they don't have a tail. They're just sort of like water nymph, water spirits. Like, the makeup would be really minimal, but kind of fun and ethereal. And they have really long, unkempt green hair, so I could get a long green wig. And, you know, I just think that would be kind of cool. And, you know, I'm Ukrainian, so I love a good Slavic folklore kind of time. This is where the list starts getting doable. This is where the list starts getting plausible. This is where the list is like a real list that I might actually choose from. The other ones I've already mentioned, complete and utter pipe dream. So we're getting into the doable, plausible part of the list now. Carol Channing. Carol Channing icon. Bowl cut wig, done. Just the whole Carol Channing thing, yes. Carol Channing impression, if you know her voice, if you know what she sounds like, could I do a Carol Channing impression? I'll work on it. You know, I have between now and October to work on a Carol Channing impression. So she's a definite maybe for my Halloween costume this year. Next up is a twofer. Penelope Garcia and Dr. Reed. I have equal claim to cosplaying these two beautiful geniuses of the famed, amazing / terrible show Criminal Minds. What more is there to say? Obviously, I have the same body type as Garcia. I have a blonde wig. I have the same dress sense. I mean, like, it's you know, we're dead ringers when I'm blonde. And then Dr. Reed, I think making a like skinny little twink boy be a fat feminine person would be kind of subversive and cool. You know, just put me in a little cardigan and a little tie and some chucks and I'm Spencer Reed. Fuck you. The last and most plausible costume, because I kind of have all of the ingredients already, is Madonna. And not just Madonna, but Madonna in the film Desperately Seeking Susan. You know, everyone would know it's Madonna because it's like Madonna hair, Madonna style, 80s whole thing. But I just, you know, I have it already. It's all ready to go. That's just, I mean, I could just roll out of bed tomorrow and be Madonna from Desperately Seeking Susan if I so chose, because I do have all of the ingredients for it. Now, why do I have all of the ingredients for a closet cosplay of Madonna in Desperately Seeking Susan? Well, I am doing a Desperately Seeking Susan style tribute in the fall in honor of the 40th anniversary of the 1985 film. So, yeah, look forward to that in the fall, I guess. Yeah, end of list. Okay. God help me. Halloween, I take it very seriously, but, like, it's also such a joke to me. It's my high holy holiday. The thing about Halloween is that I actually really do like cosplay as a concept. I do really like, you know, I like the idea of dressing up as characters from movie and TV shows. I mean, like, that's just something that's like two things I like, movie and TV and clothes. You know what I mean? Like, it's a perfect match for me. The problem is I look too much like myself to really successfully cosplay other people a lot of the time. I think Penelope Garcia, everyone would know who I was. Everyone who watches Criminal Minds or has flipped through the channels during daytime television. So, you know. So those were my beautiful Halloween ideas. I'm always open to suggestions. I'm also open to feedback, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. Feel free. Tell me about your Halloween costume that you have in mind, if you're thinking about it already, and if you're not, you should start thinking about it, because thinking about Halloween is fun. Okay, love you, bye!